Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Michelle Moreus and I make art tutorials that are fun, easy, and accessible for everyone. Today we're going to be doing gold rings in colored pencil. Before we get into the video, please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below I subscribed, and I'll be sure to get back to each and every one of you. So I've sketched out my rings and I'm going in and putting down a nice base layer of my lightest tone. So you'll see I've done my homework before I started. I've tested out my color pencils and did a color swatch and just put all of the colors that I thought I might be using in this drawing down on some paper to see that we can get the right tones. This is really helpful when beginning. This helps you not to get lost and have to keep going back into your set to grab more colors out. Now I might not use all of these tones, but they're what I saw in the reference image and they're readily available for me to pick up as I'm going along. In the beginning stage, it's really important to get down the outline part of the rings because one ring is on top of the other and it's got a heavy reflection of the ring below it, so you might get lost in that little middle area there. So I've got down my basic outline of the top ring and the bottom ring so we don't get lost as we're going along. So I'm not putting any pressure on the pencil right now. I'm just putting in very, very light layers to represent the different colors that I see in the reflections in the ring. It's really important with colored pencils to put very, very light layers and layer on top of layer. We won't get to burnishing until the very late stages of the drawing. The reason for this is you can ruin the tooth of the paper and then it'll be really hard to put anything else on top of that. So I'm still going in with very, very light layers and we're going to put a ton of colors on top of each other and try to get that rich gold feeling of the metal rings. Now this dark tone that you see me putting down is actually a really, really dark green. And I just saw in the reference image that it wasn't really a black, it was more of a darker green tone. So I am putting that in. And we may go in with a tiny bit of black just to define the major lines toward the end. But right now I'm putting in that green tone and blending that in with my yellows. Now we're going in with some ochre and just trying to get down that golden shade. Now you can use a Tombow mono eraser to pick out some highlights if you've gone over and you feel like you need to lighten up an area. We're not using solvent on this drawing, so you will still be able to pick out some highlights and things with an eraser. Because of the reflective nature of the gold, there's a lot of weird little highlights and reflections in here, so I'm just paying close attention to my reference image and trying to get all those down, taking it little section by little section, or one little reflection at a time, just trying to get this to look round and trying to get it to look like it's actually, you know, one ring is on top of the other, giving the shadows the proper attention that they need.
Honestly, try honesty, no. Just tell me what I want to hear, 'cause it could save us. Let me fly, I've got my hopes, but I can hardly see why I'm still chasing. It's not worth it for me anymore.
So the thing that makes this look realistic is the shift in the value changes. So you're going from this light yellow into this ochre and brown tone, which gives the illusion that it's actually gold, even though we're just using yellows and browns. Most color pencil sets these days have a gold color pencil in them, and usually like a copper color. I don't suggest using them. You're not going to get the range of depth that you need in order to get this realistic feeling. The gold color pencils I would use for highlights on a different drawing. I don't suggest using them when you're trying to draw gold. Don't use those gold color pencils. It just you're never going to get the depth that you're looking for. Now I'm going in with some graphite to put my shadow in. I have a little bit of graphite on a paintbrush, and I'm just going in and adding that little cast shadow in and going back with my kneaded eraser and kind of erasing the spots that need to be highlighted in the shadow and kind of softening it up a little bit. And I'll go back in and enrich that as well. Now it's all about defining the shape and trying to get that roundness. And I've gone ahead and pulled out those highlighted areas a little bit with my eraser. There's a really delicate fine line around where the dark tone is and the yellow is, and I want to make sure that I have that very fine highlight that pops out, and you don't want to go over that with too much color. You really want that to stand out to give it the edge of the ring. And I'm just going in and defining all of my edges, going back over and adding a little bit of black at this point, just a tiny bit, to clarify the very edge of the ring. Now I'm burnishing at this point. We're towards the final stages, and I'm going ahead and adding more pressure. Burnishing just means adding more pressure to the pencil and blending all of the underneath layers of pencil with the top layers. So you're just gradually adding more and more pressure, and those creamy colors will blend nicely together. So now it's all about refining. So we're going back in and we're just pushing all of those values and making sure we get the roundness of the ring. If we need to change anything, going in, pulling out a little bit more highlight with that kneaded eraser or Tombow mono eraser. And then just going in, doing my final touches. If you've enjoyed the video today, please leave me a comment below. I really enjoy hearing from each and every one of you, and I do get back to you all. If you've got something you want to see me do a tutorial on, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and happy art!